Blazin' 5. Blazin' 4 in the herd. Packers at Lions.
Green Bay has to give up 3 points, and yet they're going to Detroit, and yet we saw Detroit thump Green Bay a couple weeks ago. What is Vegas telling you? How can Vegas make Green Bay a favorite? Because Vegas is seeing what I'm seeing, and it's why I like the Packers, despite having to swallow 3 points. A couple weeks ago, Green Bay was in a must-win situation in division. Remember them manhandling Minnesota? Right now, the Packers are desperate. Detroit's not a playoff team, and there's 2 things happening with the Lions right now that Vegas has picked up on. First off, they don't take the ball away. In the last 7 games, they've had 3 takeaways. They have one of the worst plus-minus turnover ratios in the league. That catches up with you. Their red zone defense right now. If you get in the red zone the last 8 times, you score a touchdown against Detroit. It's the worst in the league. And Detroit's rushing numbers, both sides of the ball, stink. Yes, they've got talent. Yes, Jim Bob Cooter has helped offensively. But Green Bay's the better team. That's why they're favored at Detroit after being manhandled in Green Bay. Swallow the points, Packers 28-21.
Texans at Bills.
Houston is really, really good right now. 2 touchdowns surrendered in the last 18 quarters. 4 in a row. DeAndre Hopkins becoming a superstar wide receiver. And by the way, the Bills quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, is wearing down. Last 2 starts, under 60% completion rate. That offensive line in Buffalo is awful. Could be one of the league's worst. The Texans' defensive front is one of the league's best. It will control Buffalo. Here's the other thing, just to give you an example, what Greg Cosell talked about, how good the Texans' defense is. In the last month, it's first in points, net yards, first down, third down conversion, and sack percentage. Right now, the Texans' defense is the best in the league. The Bills' O-line, in my opinion, is as weak as any in football. I'll take the points. Texans beat the Bills 26-20.
Cardinals at Rams.
Everybody loves Arizona. That's why when 80% of the bets are on one team, don't follow the masses. Take the Rams in 5.5. First of all, Arizona's got a comfortable lead in the NFC West. There's very little urgency. They may start resting players, and their running backs, Chris Johnson and Andre Ellington, are all beat up. Don't forget, the last 3 games for Arizona, they've won on the last possession. I like this team a lot, but they don't blow people out, and they don't blow them out in division. In fact, the Rams are 3-0 against their own division this year, and they match up very well with the Seattles and the Arizonas in the trenches. They've lost 4 in a row. Jeff Fisher's got real urgency. This is one of those games where the public loves one side, loves Arizona. I'll take the 5.5 in the Rams, who match up in the trenches. Arizona needs no urgency this week and may rest some people.
Colts at Steelers.
By the way, I think Arizona wins at 24-23, but I'm taking the points. All right, I don't like to give up a touchdown or more, but I'm, in this instance, Pittsburgh -7 against Indianapolis. At home, Pittsburgh, I'm swallowing the points. Listen, they turned the ball over 4 times. They were at Seattle. They still scored 30 points. And Big Ben had 456 yards. The receiving core of Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, and Marcus Wheaton off a breakout performance is really special. Listen, Matt Hasselbeck's been wonderful, but he's 40. And those wins have come against Jags, Texans, Atlanta, Bucks, Titans. This is a step up in class. Right now, the thin secondary for Indianapolis will be outmatched by Big Ben and maybe the best trio in the NFL on the outside. Listen, Big Ben threw for 522 yards against the Colts last year. I think this is one of these where Indianapolis is figuring out ways to win, and it's really, really gutty. But the matchup, boxing makes fights, right? Styles make fights. This is a bad, bad matchup for the Colts. No pass rush, thin secondary against a red-hot Big Ben, and maybe the best 3 receivers in the league, the best trio. I think the Steelers win it going away, 36-26.
Seahawks at Vikings.
It's a pick'em. And Seattle's playing. Their offensive line is now growing up. They've been in every game this year, Seattle. And Richard Sherman can do something to slow down Stephon Diggs, the Vikings wide receiver, and make them completely one-dimensional. Don't forget, under Pete Carroll, since 2012, Seattle has been 22-4 in November and December. Pete's teams at USC and Pete's teams with the Seahawks have been tremendous late in the year. And the Seahawks led the NFL in scoring defense for 3 straight years. A lot of that personnel remains. I like Teddy Bridgewater. You do realize, though, he has 8 touchdowns and 7 picks all year. He's completed 208 throws. Adrian Peterson's had more rushes than that. He makes few mistakes, but he is completely limited and plays very safe football. That's tough to move the ball when Richard Sherman takes out your best wide receiver. It's a pick 'em. I'm picking Seattle. Playoffs on the line every week for them, 27-23 Seahawks.